I picked up the Tonymoly and Monsta X tone-up tin set, the one that comes with the tone-up cushion and the oil control pact. And also, I have a bunker bed. The bottom part is not a bed, it's just like a little desk area, so if it looks like I'm in prison, that's what that is. I'm in my new house. It's looking a mess, so I promise this time that I'll do an actual house tour, because I always say I'm gonna do one, but I never actually do, but I'm confident in this one now. Now, if you buy this from Tonymoly, they're supposed to give you a photo card set. The first time I went, I was like looking for the cushion. I went to the because it's not at every Tonymoly store. They did have it at the Coex one though, the new Tonymoly in the Coex. I was looking at it and the girl was like, "Oh, if you buy this, you get this photo card set." But then I got back home and then I realized they didn't give it to me. I guess they forgot. So I went back the next day, and when I went, she was like, "Oh, are you the one that called?" Which tells me, obviously I was not the one that called, but that tells me that they probably didn't give it to someone else as well, and they probably called and were like,
"Where's my photo card set?"
So Tonymoly Coex Dome. This is the photo card that you get, or are supposed to get. As handsome as they are, these 뭐지? You know when you become like a 회사원, a kind of an office person, a salary man, and they have like their little ID card. This is what they look like. Someone tagged me in a post on Instagram and people are like, "Oh, how many shades?" It doesn't come in any shades, it just comes in one. It's a tone-up cushion. Me-Bed creams, tone-up cushions. I wouldn't say that everyone uses them. They're basically supposed to brighten your complexion. They're all kind of made differently, but from my experience with them, I don't think every skin tone can use them. Maybe around my shade or lighter can use them. I think if you're anywhere darker or have a more yellow or olivey undertone, then it might end up looking ashier. Of course, it depends on the formula, but a lot of them tend to be really they almost feel like sunscreen basically, but it depends on the formula. This one comes in a cushion form. I tend to just use them on my neck if I use a foundation, sometimes because I'm so yellow, even if the foundation is the right shade, because my neck can be so yellow it might look like it's off, so I'll even it out by putting tone-up cream on my neck, and so that I don't have to put foundation here because the foundation just feels so thick and nasty. This is the tin, by the way. This is the cushion, and this is the the oil pack. Now I'm gonna actually look at the website and see what the effects are supposed to be, because I tend to just be the bitch that kind of just goes right in. Brighten your skin complexion, even out your skin tone. Also has aloe in it for moisture. A lot of them can be very drying. However, the ones that tend to come out these days are a little bit more moisturizing, which is a good thing, because sometimes they can make you look dry, which can translate ashy. If it's already trying to brighten your skin tone, but then your skin looks dry, it can look ashy. If you have sensitive skin, I guess it has a tea tree in it to help calm down your skin. Just kidding, that is the powder. The powder has tea tree in it. And also you can, in some cases, depending on your skin tone again, you can use it as sort of like a base so that you can use less foundation, or you can actually use it just alone, and depending on your skin tone, it can actually even out your skin, and you don't really have to wear foundation, because it kind of, at the same time it's slightly brightening your complexion, it kind of takes care of some spots. It's not supposed to have coverage, it's just supposed to brighten things up, but sometimes some people can suffer, not necessarily from redness, but maybe a little bit of dullness or darkness. Anyway, first thing I noticed, this shit is so tiny, it's so small. A regular cushion is like this big. This is the tone-up cushion. Already I was like, that probably does not have that much product in it. 9.5 grams? Also, the puff is absolutely tiny, like I can only fit 2 fingers. I like to put 3 fingers in.
I'm an adult virgin.
Just because I feel like I have more control. Oh, and also this one has a slightly bit of a pink undertone. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna use it just as like a base. I have nothing else other than skincare. Definitely has that cooling feeling. Oh god. You can definitely see that it made this side a little bit more pink. There's like not really any coverage. You can, a little bit of evening, but that's pretty much the effect that you're gonna get. I don't think you're gonna get anything much else from this, so I'm not gonna try to build it up. If I build it up and then put my foundation on top, it's just gonna end up really thick. It's kind of sticky a little bit. It might go away if I put foundation or if I let it dry. But the thing I do like is that as I'm blending, especially around here, it's not creating any marks. I can tell that's kind of thick and like doesn't sit or like blend into the skin well if I'm like blending here and there are cushion marks here. So, I mean, that could be just because I put a very thin layer, but so far that went on nicely. The other thing I like to do with tone-up cream just to hit not just the neck, but also the ears, because obviously you want everything to match, and sometimes my ears can get really red. Or because my skin here is so even, this ends up looking like off. But again, because it's not actually like makeup, I don't mind putting it on here or like weird places where I fear that leaving it on there is gonna like break me out, I guess. I don't know if you can break out on the ear, but like especially around here, I break out a lot here because I just don't really care for that part of my face. Okay, so there's the tone-up cream. I wouldn't say that it like, whitened my skin, but it kind of just like made my undertone more pink. And in my head, I feel like when the skin tone is more pink, because fair skin tends to be more pink, and when my skin is more pink like this, there's that sort of illusion that it's more bright, when really looking at it, it's not that much different. It's just less yellow. Didn't catch any dry patches, which is an A++, because I hate whitening creams that catch onto dry skin. My skincare has been like really helping my skin lately, so I wasn't really worried about that anyway. Oh my god, I look like a character from an early 2000s Disney movie for a second. But you can tell it covered like nothing. So I'm just gonna put on my regular foundation. I'm guessing I'm gonna be able to use less foundation now. I do think one benefit of having this sort of tone-up cushion that makes your skin tone more pink is that warmer skins would be able to pull off pink tone makeup a little bit better. I'm gonna use the Pony Effect Cover Stay foundation in nude beige. This is one of those ones where it matches pretty well. It's just that because it's so high coverage and everything's everything out, I have to put like tone-up cream on my neck because it just looks off. So I put it on, I didn't notice anything, I didn't notice much difference. Maybe using less product, which is a good thing, but technically another layer of product on, so I might as well have just put this on, I guess. If you have less problematic skin, you can put this on and then maybe just concealer on. I mean, I'm using less of this, but I'm using this as well, so less product, not necessarily. So I guess it just depends on the kind of skin that you have and what you need your needs in terms of base. I'm gonna show you my daily makeup as of lately, but if you just want to skip to where I use the oil pact, then skip here. The palette I've been using every day is the Kitkat palette from Etude House for that sort of like grungy sort of makeup look that I tend to wear a lot when I'm just wearing like hoodies and like, I'm just calling them, in Korea you call them men-to-men, but they're just the sweaters. I shade my eye area and my eye hole with these two colors here. I'm kind of just slap it on, to be honest. This is a 7-face brush, the number 215. It's kind of a huge ass brush, but I use it for a lot of things. Powder, putting base shadow on. And if I want blush to be in a very certain area, I'll use this. I also use this for setting powder for just under the eye or certain parts of the face, like under around the nose. Then I take the slightly deeper color, just near the lash line, and blend it upwards. Probably can't tell the difference, but it adds just a little bit more depth. And then I use this brown on a tiny flat brush that I actually use for eyeliner a lot. Eyeliner. Just here. Just to make my eyes look a little bit longer. The gold, I don't always use it, but let's just use it today. And just put it on the inner corner. I'm gonna take this brush here. It's a really fluffy, kind of flat placer brush, but what I do with it is I just tap into the red, then I take off all the excess. I kind of just pat it on here because I want it to be a little bit more red. You really probably can't even tell in here, but it just slightly changes the undertone of the brown. You know, I could also rub it on, but... And actually, sometimes what I do, take it on the brush I use for liner, clean off the brush, and put a little bit of red on the outer corner. I feel like this helps add to the lengthening of the eye. Now, eye makeup like this, especially on a face that can be paler, looks a little too much. So obviously we need to add blusher. But what I do is I actually just use these two colors as blush. I have this blush brush that I use a lot. It's the 7-Face 704 brush. Really great brush. They have a store in Hongdae, so you should stop by. But it's kind of flat. So what I do is I take the skinnier side so that I can actually dip it. If it had been a bigger pan, I could probably just take it like this, but the pans are kind of skinny, so I just use the side right here. Just start small and then continue to blend it outwards. But generally, basically where you would put like igari makeup, like drunk makeup. I think it's a little bit different because it's brown and not really a pink or red. So you don't really come off as like drunk looking, because if I had put, you know, I used to really do this a lot with pinkier blushes, more natural blushes. People are like, are you fucking drunk? But I think because it's more brown, I don't know, it comes off a little bit more grungy. And that's pretty much it. I kind of switch up the lip color. One of my favorite ones to use with this look is the 3CE Benchmark number 227. I think it's such a pretty color that it goes with. Just look. And that takes like no time at all. So it's all within pretty much the same palette. Obviously didn't powder my skin. And I've said this several times already where I like to put powder products like my eyeshadow, my blush on to unpowdered skin. So basically do my foundation and immediately start putting color on my skin, because I just feel like the color shows up better. But if I do need to make sure my makeup like stays in place, doesn't crease, and lasts a bit longer, I actually powder everything at the end. Lately, that's what I've been doing. And I just feel like that system of powdering last actually allows me to have the pigment of the colors on my skin, but because I powder last, I can, you know, keep everything there and it lasts a bit longer. I don't think there's anything special about this powder. I mean, it has tea tree in it, so I guess that's good, but I'm assuming it's pretty much just like every other colorless, oh god, oil packed. So what I tend to do with these is I dip in, I kind of rub it around like that, and I really like slap it on my hand. That gets enough powder into the puff and prevents from over applying. I start in the middle. I fucking should have done a half and half. Oh well. I don't think you're gonna be able to see the effects, so I'm gonna have to zoom in quite a lot. Maybe here you'll be able to see the difference. No. This as well is so tiny. So I guess it's good for travel. You don't necessarily have to set your makeup with this in general if you have oily skin. As an alternative to maybe oil blotting sheets, you can just take this. You do have to make sure you wash this regularly though, because with oil sheets, you just throw them out after using them, but with this, you're keeping it in here. So that's my face, but oil packs can, if you use them to set your makeup, they can kind of almost give you a white cast sometimes. So, and in general, again, because the foundation I use quite full coverage and I had used the whitening pact, I'm going to put some on my neck. Because I tend to carry, when I do my own makeup, I always include a tone-up cream in my routine now. So I think this would be good for travel. Brightening cream that I tend to use is the 3CE one, the one that's in that milk bottle, but that's like a big ass thing, so it's a little bit better. Can you tell the difference? I don't know.
12 o'clock midnight.
Hello, I'm back. I went to go film something at the dance studio, so she was dancing a little bit, and surprisingly, this cushion usually is more on the matte dry side, so I'm surprised a little bit. I mean, I was dancing pretty hard, but you can see my oil is coming up a little bit, 1241, but I don't see the foundation breaking down anywhere. At this point would be a good time to use something like the oil pack. However, I will show you how I would use this, because I wouldn't go straight in with this, because when you do, in my opinion, I feel like you're also getting the oil that's starting to come up onto the puff, and then you're gonna dip it back into the product, and the kind of harbors bacteria, and it kind of gets the puff all gunky and nasty. Take a tissue, this is toilet paper, and I just split it so you get the thinnest amount. You don't really have to do this, it'll pick up oil anyway. Oh god, do you see that? Picked up the oil, a little bit of makeup. And it's important to catch the oil at this stage, because if you let the oil sit on your face any longer, it's gonna start breaking down the makeup. So I caught it at a pretty decent time. It did lift a little bit of foundation under my nose, but that's totally fine. And this is when I would go in with the oil packed. There. I actually went to Tonymoly because they came out with another product with Monsta X, and that is the lip care stick. I got two. because there was white and red. There's not really a difference. The red one is number 1 sugar lemon, and number 2 the white one is milk. I might just be the flavor. I actually have a lot of these. I did a video on their collaboration with Product Bokumyeon, the spicy fire noodle, whatever. This is one of my favorite lip balms to use because it doesn't just really sit on your lips. It's really thick, like a lip mask, but after a few minutes, it kind of not only softens the skin, but it kind of sinks in at the same time. So you're not left with like a thing that you kind of have to wipe off. The only thing though is that you still should stay hydrated and drink water, because apart from it like softening the dead skin on the lips, dead skin is just gonna keep coming up, and not even dead skin, but like your lips are gonna like crack and get really like tight and start to wrinkle up badly if you don't keep hydrated. I wasn't drinking that much water today, so yeah, other than that, this is one of my favorite lip balms, and it's really inexpensive. The photos on these though, I think these are just collector things, because what I'm assuming you can do is kind of just rip this off. Hold on, be careful. And it's funny because these are the same photos that they used for their Singles. Singles is a magazine. They just slapped them on these lip balms. You'd think that they would have their own photo shoot. Okay, I would use like scissors with this. On the back, there's a group photo. Oh, the packaging is so much nicer. It's a matte finish one, while the Fire Noodle one is like shiny. This is the red one, which looks a lot like this one. It's just not shiny. 차이가 뭐야? It's the scent. Except milk doesn't smell that far off. Anyway, lip balm, obviously I recommend it. It's one of my favorite lip balms, simply because it doesn't just kind of coat your lips like Vaseline or something would. It actually softens and hydrates the lips, both kind of like outside and inside. Just make sure you're still drinking water. The cushion set, the oil pack is fine. It's just like every other oil pack I have ever tried. Wouldn't say it does much for controlling oil. It's more for mattifying if your skin is getting oily. Again, I recommend the tissue thing because you don't want to get the puff dirty. And this thing, the tone up cushion, my skin actually, 잠깐만, do you see this? Right here, it's starting to sink into my pores, which doesn't happen often. That was like really fucking close. So who I really recommend it for are people that are more on the fair or light side, that don't really need much coverage, that kind of just want to brighten their complexion without having to use an actual base product. Or if you need to kind of even out the color between your face and neck, obviously I'm not saying like use a fucking like 4 shades lighter foundation and then you can use this to even out your neck. This is only for like slight like difference. Obviously you still have your arms, and if your arms are like your natural color but then you have like your face like the color of this t-shirt, it's not gonna look right. I think on here it even says though that you can use this on your arms and legs, although that would take a while because this shit is tiny. Or you can kind of use it as a makeup base in a way to kind of even out your skin tone a little bit. So I guess you can use less foundation. It is thinner than like a primer, so that's a plus. I need to edit a video because I'm going to Japan. By the time you see this, I'm probably going to be in Japan, or I will be in Japan. So I need to edit this video, and I will see you guys later. Bye.